Hello friends, today's Friday. We're going to do a little props from the past for you. An old video, a short video, and what's fantastic is that Brittany picked it out. She said I would like it. And other than that, I have not watched it ahead of time. I do know the title to get you sort of primed for it. It is a Tools of the Trade video. In the Punished Prop Shop. That's the name of the video. I haven't watched it in years, but I suspect I will talk about a bunch of tools that I use all the time. What I'm interested in seeing is how many of those tools still get used every day. Like how relevant this video still is to my everyday workflow. So let's jump right in and see what Bill from probably 2013 has to say about his tools that he uses every day. All right, here we go. Awesome. Oh, this is a different intro. Well, I love to check out the workbench, and see what was sitting on the workbench when I shot this intro. I see the scope, it's blurry, but I see the scope from the Ghost Rifle from StarCraft 2. I still haven't made one of those for myself. I really want to someday. But it would be a ton of work because the molds are a nightmare. Anyway, fun intro. Hey, it's Jinbeard here, and welcome to and also, I'm going to point out I have a brown hoodie on. That is not my shop hoodie. Believe it or not, it was my shop hoodie back then, but the orange-ish shop hoodie that I've kind of been gotten to be known for over the years that I don't actually wear very much anymore. Anyway, this was the shop hoodie, and the orange one was my clean hoodie that I would wear down in the shop or around the house, but it didn't get it dirty. And I don't know when that one got dirty and became the new shop hoodie, but that happened at some point, and now that hoodie is an absolute nightmare. I still have it. I believe it's at the shop somewhere. But this was Shop Hoodie Prime. The shop. I got some lights. These giant lights here. Hey, look at that. Production value.
Super bright.
Fun story, I borrowed those from a friend, I guess like 7 years ago, and I am still borrowing them. I did reach out, he said I could just keep them, and they've been awesome. We have replaced those lights with LEDs, but I hang on to them because they're like 500 watt, crazy powerful lights if I ever need them.
And square shaped, casting this nice warm glow on me. And I wanted to just shoot a video to test them out, and I figured let's take this opportunity to show you some of the tools that I use every single day here in the Punished Props shop.
I think it's important to point out too that at this point I wasn't doing a ton of YouTube tutorials. Most of the business I was doing was making prop commissions and molding and casting stuff for people.
Let's start with these clamps.
Hey, I still have those.
I have a whole bunch of different kinds of clamps. And these things are crazy useful for all sorts of stuff.
In fact, those cheap metal spring clamps, I recommend getting a bunch of them. I should probably go get more, actually.
And they are also crazy cheap. You can get more specialized clamps if you need, but these guys do me just fine. Got my respirator.
Of course.
Safety first.
And I believe I have the same respirator? I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like the same one.
I have a mallet,
new filters,
and
obviously.
you'll be surprised how often this comes in handy.
I actually don't use that mallet very often. I have no idea where it is.
This is coffee. This is the most appreciated tool in the shop.
Still true.
It gets me going during the day. Lots of popsicle sticks.
Also
acetone.
still true.
Hammer. Off to the side here, this is my rotary tool. It's like a Dremel, just one from Sears.
So I probably told this story before, but all of our wedding registry stuff, this is in 2010, we registered with Sears because they had plates and silverware, but they also had tools, and that's how we got this rotary tool and my Craftsman scroll saw and my Craftsman chop saw, a little 10-inch chop saw. Do kind of wish I had a bigger chop saw. But that's besides the point. This rotary tool lasted, I think, 5 good years before it finally gave up the ghost, and I replaced it with the Fordham, which is quite a step up.
And I've got the arm attachment, and it's hanging there so I can use it all over my bench. A bench, by the way, that I built myself. There are 3
I still have that bench. It's set up in the the newer workshop.
sections just like this that are all attached to each other. And they are standing height, so that I am standing all day, and I guess that's good for me, right?
I don't know if standing all day is actually all that good for me. Well, not great for my feet and back. That's something I learned, especially in the new shop, which is all concrete. We had to put floor pads everywhere. Just hanging out for a day on the bare concrete wrecked my back and feet. I feel like I didn't prepare very well for this video. I don't know. I just seem like I'm just sort of fumbling around a little bit. What else is on here? It just looks like I threw a bunch of stuff on the counter. Anyway, let's continue.
I also have super glue, all of my homemade sculpting tools. I have my breast cancer awareness measuring tape, along with a whole bunch of other measuring type tools that are metal and plastic and see-through.
Still have all those.
Those things are super useful. Then I've got a coping saw. Again, another super cheap tool that I use almost every single day.
Coping saw is great. If you have a scroll saw or a bandsaw or a laser cutter, it becomes a lot less useful. But I still have mine, and it is still like the perfect tool for something every 2 or 3 years.
Then I've got all kinds of knives. We've got these sheetrock knives. I've got these extendo knives of different sizes.
All still.
We've got files.
Actually, we sell our own knives now. Like, that's how far we've come since this video.
This is a round file. This is a rectangular looking one.
The round file is broken in half. I don't remember what it was I was trying to pry, but I was trying to pry something, and I used that exact round file, which is hardened steel. So it snapped right in half. I don't know what I was thinking, but I still have part of that round file. The little chunk that broke off, still useful.
I also have a whole bunch of tiny ones, and these things are fantastic for getting all of those little details.
At some point, what's on screen, what you see right now are all the at this point anyway, all the needle files I own. I have at least 10 times more now.
You want on your props. Up here we also have on these 2 magnet strips some drill bits, some Dremel bits, some tweezers.
Nice.
I've also got this set of...
I still use a lot of those magnet strips. Specifically, I have one next to the rotary tool with all the most commonly used bits there, so I can swap them in and out easily. And then on the main workbench, kind of like I have it set up here, I have a bunch more, again, for more commonly used tools, X-Acto knives, funky X-Acto blades that I've custom made, weird drill bits that are perfect for one little job and I'll probably never use again. Those all get stuck up on that magnet strip so that I always have them whenever I need them.
Woodworking chisels, although I don't use them on wood very often, I'll probably use them more for like plastic and that sort of thing, but these things I use every single day. Some other basic
I don't use
tools,
those as much anymore.
Pliers, what have you. I've got tape, I've got drawing tools like squares.
It just cracks me up when I'm like, I have tape, and I pan across the like 4 rolls of tape I owned. Now I have like 40, and that's even a minuscule amount compared to other tape collections I've seen. But look how proud I am. My tape.
And all that stuff. I've got a whatever in there. There's a compass hiding in there. I also have this caliper, which is
still have that too, yeah. I do have a nicer one now though.
Moving.
Most of these tools I have nicer versions of now, but I kept the old version, so I have like multiples or redundant copies. The crappy Harbor Freight caliper I got, I use it when I'm like doing rough machining, and I don't care if it gets banged up or anything. It's awesome. It was like $7.
Down the line, we have a box of sandpaper, and I have a whole bunch of different sandpaper hiding back there. A sanding block and sanding sponges. Sandpaper is the most used tool in my shop.
Still true. Still true.
Rounding up the back end here, we have a heat gun that I use very frequently.
Yeah. It lasted 8 years before that heat gun died.
And a hot glue gun, also I use that all the time. and a power drill.
That power drill also died.
So I do have a whole bunch of other tools. I've got some more specialized tools, like a lathe back there, and my cutting tools and all that. But for the most part, these are the things that I use every single day. Hopefully you guys have learned a little bit about how things are done around here. And if you have any questions about the tools that you use or the tools that I use, let me know in the comments. And yeah, go get a coping saw.
And that's it. The video just ends. Well, that was fun. Nowadays, like a lot of those tools I still use, especially the small hand tools. But the big things that I didn't have at the time, the laser cutter obviously is a big one, but I hadn't even purchased a bandsaw at that point. I think I got one like a year after that. And now I have 3 of them. So bandsaw is a big one. I definitely wish I had picked that one up earlier. But other than that, rotary tool, right? I still use that. Sandpaper, still use that. Needle files, knives, like all these basic tools all still get used every single day. I've just since purchased machines that can do the same work more accurately and more quickly. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this props from the past. Always a pleasure looking back at not only see what I was working on for props back then, but also see how I was making videos back then. And I really do think I put about 10 whole minutes of effort into filming this video. But like I said, that wasn't my focus back then. So really, really kind of interesting time capsule. And we have hundreds more we can go over in the future. All right, keep making them. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you are staying safe, taking care of one another, and I do hope you get to safely enjoy the weekend. I know the weather continues to get better and better here in Seattle, and we're excited to get just a little bit of vitamin D. We usually don't get that around here. Anyway, thank you so much for the support, you guys. Keep it up. Take it easy, and we'll see you next week for some more adventures.